Hello everyone, back tuning in to today's first video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next week, 10 days for today's first video. It'll take us to around the 21st of March. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM WF on some. We'll also have a look at CFSV2 for the next month at the end of the video. But starting us off is going to be Storm Gareth. So we've got a new named storm on the way. It's going to be bringing some wild weather across the country tonight and through tomorrow as well. So I'll bring you up to date, first of all, what's going on there. So this tweet was put out by the Met Office a short time ago. They were saying hashtag Storm Gareth has been named by @Met that's the Irish Met Agency, and he's forecast to bring strong winds and heavy rain to the UK later on Tuesday and into Wednesday. Hashtag weather aware. So let's run the animation and see what's going to happen with Storm Gareth. So there we go. There's a low pressure in Storm Gareth, bringing strong winds across the country through tonight and into tomorrow, and quite a lot of heavy rain moving through the country as well. Winds turning to the north as you get through to Wednesday, so it'll be a colder day. Might bring some wintry showers into northern parts of the country in particular. So I think we'll be looking at gusts of wind up to 80 miles an hour across the far northwest of the country through tomorrow. Also a lot of heavy rain. The front looks like it's going to get a bit stuck down across the south, so rain could be on through much of the day down across the far south and southeast of the country, and it'll be very windy for all of us. Gusts of wind up to 50, 60 miles an hour quite widely, but the worst of the winds, I think, will be in the northwest. So another named storm, Storm Gareth, and we'll be hearing a lot about Storm Gareth in the next 24 to 48 hours. Beyond that, we'll move on to the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts and see what's going to happen beyond Storm Gareth in the week to 10 day time frame. So we've got the ECMWF on the top of this chart, and the GFS, which I'll look at in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 8,000 feet is an area where the atmosphere high pressure, low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Blue extrapolates to below average heights, which is low pressure. Excuse me, yellow, orange, and red extrapolating to above average heights, which is high pressure. So in the 7 to 10 day time frame, we keep a deep area of low pressure, deep trough to our north and northwest, but there are signs now of the Azores high beginning to strengthen and beginning to make its moves. So down here we've got this area of orange, that is the Azores high starting to ridge towards us. Now in the 7 to 10 day time frame, this is still quite unsettled from the ECM. It's still got this area of below average heights out to the north and west. It's still bringing quite a strong jet stream, indicated by the tight lines there coming across the Atlantic and into Ireland, UK and Europe. So still relatively unsettled in the 7 to 10 day time frame with the ECM, but it is beginning to that ridge down to the southwest, and it's that ridge that we're looking towards to push this trough of low pressure up to Greenland and Iceland with the jet stream, and to start to send a ridge of high pressure over the UK. It begins from an extension from the Azores high. That looks like it's going in that direction. The GFS goes even further with this. So this is the GFS. Again, we've got the below average heights up to the northwest, but they're further northwest with the jet stream being pushed up to there. And the Azores high, the ridge from the Azores, is actually stronger with the GFS in the 7 to 10 day time frame. So it does have high pressure starting to ridge in to the UK around days 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is settling us down. It's turning things drier and a lot milder as well, as it's pushing the jet stream up to the north. That is spring commencing. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. We're going to Truro down in the far southwest of the country today. So this is another suggested place on our list of suggested locations, this section of the video. So the red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Truro. And it's going to be quite cool in the next week. So we've got a big drop in temperature coming along associated with Storm Gareth. Then the temperature ticks up a little bit as we go through into the second half of the week. It will turn milder for a couple of days, Thursday, Friday, before it goes colder again over the weekend and into the start of next week. Then we go through next week and into the final days of March. You see there is a definite warming trend appearing now within the GFS ensembles. Yes, there is still quite a bit of scatter. We still have these colder members down here. But the overall thrust of the GFS ensembles has definitely shifted today towards milder conditions for the final week to 10 days of March. So there is a bit of scatter. There are still some members of the GFS ensembles that are colder, but overall we're shifting towards milder conditions there by the look of it. As far as precipitation is concerned, also a drying trend is appearing, so lots of precipitation coming up in the next week or so, regular rainfall. But then as we go through into the final week to 10 days of March, again we see a clear sort of drying trend appearing there. There are still precipitation spikes though, so it might not entirely settle down. It might be a case that we keep that high pressure just down to the southwest of us, which allows weather systems and low pressure to roll in over the top. We have to be aware of that sort of possibility. But overall, it does look as though we've got a bit of a drying trend and quite a warming trend appearing now within the GFS ensembles as we're looking ahead towards the final week or so of the month. Temperature anomalies very close to average from the 11th to the 19th of March. A little bit cooler than average in the north, perhaps a little bit milder than average in the south. Not a big deviation, very close to average with those temperature anomalies in the week ahead. Precipitation anomalies from the 11th to the 19th of March, generally a little bit above average. So it remains unsettled with temperatures close to average in the week ahead. This is how the GFS operational run is looking for Thursday. So this is when we start to pull up some milder air from off the Atlantic, but we do still have low pressure to the north. So still be unsettled, but temperatures will get a bit of a boost in the second half of the week. Goes very unsettled from Friday to Saturday. Active weather front could bring a really wet day actually for much of England and Wales on Saturday. And as that sort of engages with cold air pushing down from the north, there might be some snow on the northern edge on Saturday, so we have to watch out what's happening there. By Sunday, that's getting out of where it's leaving us in this colder run of northwesterly winds, so it'll be going quite a lot colder as we get through towards the end of the weekend and the start of next week. But then next week, here comes a change. High pressure starting to strengthen down to south. Now we're running up towards day 10, we're quite a long way out, but high pressure is definitely strengthening to our south. It's ridging in from the Azores high. And by day 10, look at that, spring has returned. England and Wales under a 1,035 millibar area of high pressure, which brings very mild air around the top of that ridge of high pressure. So the air's coming up kind of like from middle of the Atlantic and for some parts of Europe. That'll lift temperatures back into mid-teens Celsius, and it'll be settling down. There'll be plenty of dry weather under that high pressure. Still excuse me, again, still a little bit unsettled in the far northwest of the country. And then high pressure continues into extended range with the GFS operational run. Actually, we keep lots of high pressure very close to us as we run into the final week of March. So this is a real change again that we've got coming up here, if this is right. We're breaking out of this very unsettled spell of weather, and we're going back to a really big area of high pressure dominating the weather through the final week to 10 days of March. It's what we've been expecting. That's what we forecast for March. So we've been expecting this. But of course, it's still a little way off, so got to wait and see whether it does verify. This is the GFS parallel run, looking very unsettled at the end of the week and into next weekend. Really unsettled conditions and quite cold as well with the GFS parallel run. Into more extended range, so the Azores, the ridge from the Azores high struggles more with the parallel GFS. This is how we look at day 10, Thursday 21st of March. We've got high pressure down to our south, we've got low pressure out to the northwest still. We're having a go at building this ridge in, but it's certainly more unsettled at day 10 compared to the GFS operational run. Do we eventually get towards a high pressure? Well, yes, we do. By the time we get through to the very end of a parallel GFS, we have got this ridge building to our south. So eventually it gets there, but it takes a long time to do it, and it's certainly a much more unsettled and rather cooler run, the GFS parallel, compared to the GFS operational. Nevertheless, by the very end of the parallel GFS, which is the 27th of March, we are more or less under high pressure once again. ECMWF is looking like this, so again, at the end of the week, it's looking unsettled. These unsettled conditions last into the weekend as well. Very wet and unsettled potentially on Saturday, parts of the country. By Sunday, we're into a showery northwesterly flow. That takes into Monday as well, into the rest of next week. So again, quite unsettled, more so than the GFS operational run. That's how we look at day 10, which is Thursday, 21st of March. So again, we've got the Azores high strengthening down to our southwest. We saw it on the height anomaly flow charts. It is strengthening. It's trying to throw a ridge up towards us. But overall, at day 10, the ECM is still looking quite unsettled. So any proper sort of settling down will be, I think, a few more days beyond this next area of low pressure that we have just here. That's quite a big one. And that would run in before this area of high pressure, this Azores high, managed to send up a proper ridge. So I'd have to get this low pressure through first, and then maybe the Azores high would start to push northwards. I think we're very gradually getting towards more settled conditions through the final stages of March, but it could take a little while. These are the options that are on the table in the ECM ensembles at day 10 from the Icelandic Met Office. So this is the 21st of March, of course, 240 hours away. We've got 24 members of the ECM ensembles, including the operational run, the run we was just looking at, that do look unsettled. They've got below average heights out to the north and the northwest, and they're bringing the flow of a jet stream through rather like that. So those ones are looking quite unsettled, including the operational run. Then there's another 15 that have low pressure a bit further northwards. They're pushing low pressure further northwards. They have a strengthened ridge down to our south from the Azores high. So the jet streams further north. They're a milder, drier option. Not completely settled. There would still be some influence from the jet, particularly for northern parts of the country. But overall, they're a more settled and milder option. And then there's number 12 just here that have high pressure ridging from the Azores into southern parts of the UK, and they go towards the east with low pressure up to the far northwest of us. So again, they're a drier, milder option as well. So quite split really within the ECM ensemble. So there's the 24 here that are very unsettled, still at day 10, and then there's the 15 and the 12 that are just that little bit more settled. So it is quite a big split actually, almost 50-50, not quite 50-50, but quite a big split that we've got there between the settled and more unsettled scenarios at day 10. In 2 weeks' time, which is the 26th of March, the ECM ensembles are looking like this. We've got above average heights down to our south and below average heights up to the north. So again, reasonably settled. They're trying to settle things down. The trough of low pressure is lifting out up to the north. So the trend as we go into the final days of March with the ECM ensembles looks like it's going towards more settled conditions. And there are 21 members of the ECM ensembles that do actually have us under quite a big ridge of high pressure sitting over and to our east, and they're bringing up very mild spring-like southerly winds. So very gradually, it's taking a while, and it could well take a while to get to this, but very gradually I think we are beginning to firm up on the idea of a more settled sort of scenario for the final week of March in particular. I would say the final week, 10 days, but I think it's going to be particularly the final week that's likely to bring us back towards high pressure. Finally, just having a look at the CFS V2. These are 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period will take us from the 11th to the 17th of March. So the coming week looks unsettled. Below average heights to the north and northeast of the country. Above average heights, middle of the Atlantic. Bring the flow of a jet through like that. So very cool, very unsettled conditions, including, of course, now named storm Gareth, that's going to be hitting us tonight and tomorrow. Week 2 is the 18th to the 24th of March, again with below average heights up to the north, above average heights out in the middle of the Atlantic. So the Azores high strengthening, the jet streams lifting north, but probably still relatively unsettled, particularly for northern parts of the country in this week. It's not until week 3, final week of March, 25th to the 31st, that we go back to high pressure. We've got this ridge passage building up from the Azores High. It's moving into central and northern parts of Europe. The jet stream's being pushed up towards Greenland and Iceland. That's proper spring returning for the final week of March, and then we go through to week 4, and it's the 1st to the 7th of April, looking very settled and spring-like with above average heights centred over and to the east of the country and also extending out into the Atlantic as well. Jet streams pushed off up there, so that really is turning us into a very spring-like spell of weather with plenty of dry and warm weather for the first week of April. So everything that we've been expecting really for this March, which is very unsettled in the first half, then going back towards high pressure in the second half, and particularly in the final week, looks like it's more or less on course, and maybe in firming up a little bit about it today. Just want to point this out. This is the original YouTube channel. So we moved from the Gavin Partridge YouTube channel to the Gazweather's YouTube channel in March 2014, almost 5 years to the day. And I always sort of go back to the Gavin Partridge YouTube channel one day and do some personal sort of videos. So I've uploaded a video about Star Wars over the weekend. Go and have a look at that if you enjoy Star Wars content and you'd like to have a few videos just with my thoughts about Star Wars and talking about various things that are coming up, because we've got episode 9 coming up at the end of the year. Then just go over to Gavin Partridge channel, have a look at it, see what you think. Subscribe to the channel. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're at 600. Of course, the subscriber count went down a lot when we shifted over to the Gazweather's YouTube channel. So subscribe, like the video, see what you think to it, and let me know through the comments on that channel whether you want to see more Star Wars content. The original weather videos that we did between 2012 and 2014, they will remain on that channel, that old channel, although the focus of it, with its sort of rebirth, is going to be with Star Wars. The old weather videos will remain there. They're not going to be removed or taken away at all, so you can still go back and watch the old videos between 2012 and 2014, and they include, of course, that cold winter of 2012-13. So some of those videos are quite entertaining. They are worth a watch, because we haven't had a proper cold winter since then. So I'll leave a link to the original YouTube channel in the description here with this video, and if you enjoy Star Wars content, go over and have a quick watch of that. Right, so that rounds it up for today. We're going to be hearing a lot about Storm Gareth in the next 24 hours or so. So batten down the hatches and take care if you're going to be off out and about tonight or tomorrow. It's going to get pretty wild, particularly so in the northwest, where I think it could be up to 80 miles an hour with the winds tomorrow. Right, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.